Okay.
Hey guys.
Hey guys, welcome to our channel, Divine Interventions 13. Make sure you guys subscribe, like, and share this video.
So I am Sistar Outspoken, and this is
Ree Cee.
So today we're going to tell you a little bit more about ourselves, you guys. Like we kind of let you know what the channel was going to be about, but we want you to understand our personal spiritual journey just a little bit more in depth.
Yes.
So we're going to ask each other a few questions and see what comes out.
Yes.
You know.
Okay, so we're going to get started. Okay, so Sistar Outspoken. Was there... Oh, sorry.
I'm talking to them.
Okay. Okay, so was there a specific religious background you were exposed to while growing up?
So surprisingly, now that my all my future battle rap opponents are going to find out now, I was a Christian. My family is a Christian background, so that's how I grew up.
Okay. So, what led you to be on the current spiritual journey that you're on today? Like coming from Christianity to, where you are today?
It was a number of things. The first thing that sat with me, even before having certain levels of knowledge or any experiences, I noticed that in the church, it was a lot of judgment.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lot of judgment, so I couldn't even feel comfortable going through things in life, and I didn't feel normal.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, Christianity, the Bible, has conflictions in it.
Mm-hmm.
Like it conflicts with its own messages.
Yes.
And when you ask questions about it, people get offended.
Yes.
And when you're just trying to learn.
Right, because you can't question God. He'll strike you down.
Yeah.
And you'll be in the lake of fire.
And that's not to talk down on Christianity or anything.
Right. But that's what happens, though, in the church, though.
Yeah.
That's what happens, yeah.
It's, and you should be able to ask questions about your doctrine.
Of course.
It's not my fault if on this page it says this, and then on this page it says the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the only doctrine that has thousands of different copies of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like as far as the languages and versions, and it differentiates over and over again, and it's the only one that's like that. So that created a confliction with me within myself. And then I actually started having spiritual experiences.
Okay.
Where I was seeing things,
Mm-hmm.
I was hearing things, I was experiencing the spiritual realm.
Okay.
In ways to where it was like, this is happening for real.
So did any of those things happen while you were going to like Christian churches as a Christian woman? Like did any of those experiences happen?
It did. And I was asking questions that could not be answered.
Okay.
Or they were treating me like, what the hell?
Mm-hmm.
And if you really look through the Bible, some of these experiences exist in the Bible.
Of course.
They have visitation dreams. They talk to other entities. They experience different things. But the way our culture is and the way religion is nowadays, you're not really taught for it to really be true. You're taught the words to like memorize it, but not that you can actually experience these things.
Yes.
People treat you like you're crazy.
Yes. Or from what I've noticed, sometimes they say, oh, those things happen because those people were special. It's impossible for it to happen to you. If it happens to you, then you're crazy. But they were chosen. They were special. They had, the favor of God on them. So that's why it happened to them. But it is impossible for it to happen to you.
So it was a blessing for me to be invited to Christ Unity Center. I was invited there. It's Christ Unity Center for African Spiritual Science.
Yes.
And I was invited there for a healing event. Like it had nothing even to do with like joining a temple or church or nothing like that. And then I got there, actually missed the healing event. That's what happened. But I was like, I'm still show up another day and just check it out because they invited me. And I came, and they were talking that day about everything that I was experiencing. And they were talking about it, explaining it as normal.
Divine intervention.
Exactly. They talked about our ancestors, and they talked about our culture, and they talked about how back in the day, like if we started having certain experiences or something like that, you went to the babalao or the shaman or whoever, whatever the name for that the spiritual leaders were. They take you under their wing.
Yes.
And they train you with your sensitivity, so you understand it. We're not doing that. We putting people on medications.
Right. In a crazy house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to find that and be able to tap into something that was so authentic, and it was so like, I felt like I aligned with something that was me. And that's all she wrote.
Yes.
And I've been down this path.
Yes.
Oh, let me add something else too.
Oh, go ahead.
Because another important part, before I even got to that, finding Karaz, coming out of Christianity, before I found actual spiritual practices, and I went to massage school, I started to learn about energy, frequencies, and stuff like that.
Yes.
And I started to really learn how we are energy and how energy transfers. And that was a good step for me to at least be able to start healing myself and understanding myself and understanding how we connect to one another.
Absolutely.
And how real that is. So I could even be able to fathom having a soul or being a soul. Because you go from feeling like you're a body with a spirit to realizing your spirit with a body having a human experience.
Exactly. So going back to Karaz Unity Center of African Spiritual Science, make sure y'all go online, and they do have archived episodes and teachings online, so you guys can catch up with some of that. It's very, very powerful knowledge. But is there a certain doctrine that you abide by or live by? I know in your battles you talk a lot about like comedic science, but is that the doctrine that you abide by, or is there other things let's talk a little bit about that.
So in my studies, I resonate mostly with comedic studies, Ma'at, and Ifa. But what I noticed is the more I study when it comes to religions, and the older you go back, I find likeliness in many religions.
Exactly.
Most religions operate the same outside of like Islam and Catholicism.
Yes.
The rest of them have the same system of understanding.
Absolutely.
You have a creator, and then the creator has basically put other people, like other entities, in charge of certain shit. And then you can communicate with whatever it is. Like if you want into fertility or building or whatever, like you can tap into that energy.
Yes.
With that entity under what you know to be God.
Yes, and I kind of attribute that, not to cut you off, I kind of attribute that to like us living in the world. If you need your car fixed, you're not going to go to the dentist to get your car fixed. You're going to go to a mechanic to get your car fixed. So that right there is what I look at it as. Like it's God is the universal creator, and then there are, his workers, like the Orishas, in between that, like the intercessors. Yes, there's different names for them, but it's all the same thing, in my opinion. And there's different energy sources that you can go to get help or get guidance or whatever.
And I started to appreciate many religions, because if something is alike and it lived for so long, it's alike because it has truth. Truth lives the longest. Every doctrine has things that are alike because you cannot diminish truth. So I can relate to people or into Hinduism or even Buddhists because it's similar.
Yes.
It's very similar. But I do choose to operate under my principles and the rituals and understandings of the Orishas and Ifa.
Yes, absolutely. So what spiritual tools do you find yourself using on this spiritual journey that you are on?
Okay. Where do I start?
We want to hear it.
Okay. First, I'll start with the basics of understanding my altar. That was a very interesting process, because in the beginning I thought it was bullshit. Setting up an altar, making sure you got all the elements, actually giving offerings. I feel like I'm wasting food. And then, or you giving them stuff that they like I'm giving you weed, like it's just sitting here. But what happens is, the deeper you get in your experiences and your commitment, how do I say this without, you know what, this is our free space.
Yes, it is.
You will start having experiences where you're talking to spirits directly. You're talking to the ancestors directly, and they will tell you what's bullshit and what's not. And you can be thinking like, oh, I'm just not gonna do this or I'm not gonna do that, and then like something happened, and it literally, it's like, damn, you couldn't give me nothing on this holiday. You know, I celebrate that shit. I don't care. You don't celebrate it. Like, you know what I mean? Or it's like you don't light something, or you don't do libation. You know, the water has its own representation. The fire has a representation. The earth has a representation for the ka. You know, that's a part of the soul that can still visit here and hold the personality. Absolutely. And when things die, they do not, energy never dies.
It can be transferred.
It transfers.
Yes.
So think of the science of a fruit dying and the energy transferring where you focused it. You can literally feed a spirit. So that I actually had to learn that in my own disciplines, and then go through a process of being scared.
Because it's unnatural to you. It's not like you weren't taught these things. Like, it's just things that are happening, and we don't always understand it. So it can warrant some fear or uncomfortability.
Because once you start having, because it's one thing to kind of be humoring yourself. You know, like, oh, I'm gonna do this, I said do this, whatever, and then some shit happens,
and you like, oh,
and then it's like,
it's real.
Oh God, no, it's real. Wait, I'm not alone in this room, and I can't see you. Like, it's just trippy as fuck. You know, and then you can't tell anybody. So it's scary. But another tool that I utilize, and we'll talk about this in depth in another video as well, journaling early in the morning.
That's very important.
Yeah, I learned how to communicate with my own consciousness and subconscious, and my ancestors and spirit guides, and begin to understand the difference between the communication.
Yes.
Because, and that's a training to trust yourself. Because when you're going through experiences and you're trying to train or understand telepathy, but the voices don't come in sounding like another voice, it sounds like your own thoughts. Then it's like, maybe it's just me creating this, or maybe I'm just, I'm crazy, I'm stupid. Like, you know, but as you start to write and you sit down and you talk to them, you can see the difference immediately. You start to learn the difference of how it feels between when you conjure a thought versus when something just hits your brain. Right. Like an outer energy. And then you can tell on the paper the difference between the personalities. It's like, I don't even talk like this. Like, you go back and read it and it's like, I don't even use that word. Like, what is that word again? Okay, that wasn't me if I don't even know. Like, you know. So and then and the difference between just saying you or I or something like that. So and so that's a strong part of my spiritual practices, to learn to trust myself in my communication. And then Dreamwork. And what some people don't know is I consider our friendship being closer. Because, not because we went to elementary school together, because I met her there. Not even because of battle rap, because she's from my squad, but because I went to a Dream Guru class at Karas Unity Center, and her ass was in there. And that,
oh, hey, what's up, girl?
Like, what's the chances of that? Like, because when you're going through these experiences and this journey, and you're from a urban rural that don't even talk about that kind of stuff, or everybody family Christian or Muslim or whatever, and it's like you don't talk about it. So to come to this little low-key class at this little African temple and the homie in there, it's like, oh, what? I got somebody to talk to? Oh.
It's lit.
Yeah, it's lit, right? Oh, like, cool kids in the class.
I remember that.
So that is a in-depth part of, and we both was able to learn. She was learning from him. But we both were able to learn from the ancestor Nomad Winterhawk. Which you can actually look up. And he taught us how to break down our dreams, how to understand the messages that come through in our dreams. and the differentiations between the messages in our subconscious. And that's something that I utilize a lot.
Yes, absolutely.
And just receiving and understanding my dreams to be able to understand what's going on with myself and others. And also lucid dreaming and astral projection.
Yes.
Lucid dreaming that's a little dangerous as well, in a sense, because even how Winterhawk was explaining it, I was doing things in my lucid dreaming practices that I didn't know I wasn't supposed to do until he brought it up.
Okay.
Because
we gotta talk about that one day. We gotta have like a whole session about dreams, because like dreams is one of the like most like there's not a lot of research out there, valuable research out there.
And what you find is most of the research on dream is from people that's watching other people dream,
right?
Not having their own experiences, right. And then they put their theories and opinions onto those people's experiences. So
it's not valuable,
right?
And
because they're doctors, right? All they do is write it on a paper or say they watch this many people, so this is a fact now because you're a doctor. So now that's the fact on dreams. No.
Yes. So like with the class that me and Sistar Outspoken was with Nomad Winterhawk, rest in peace to Winterhawk. But he's a shaman. He's a healer. He's like the leader of his tribe and everything. So he knows all these things, and he practices these things. He knows how to go into your dream and help you. Like, this is all ancient Native American practices that's normal among Native American people. But, in our culture, it may not be that normal because,
we're not
the
taught these
backgrounds
things.
are different, and it's completely taboo. We're not taught these things. Yeah. So I thought that was really, dope to see you in there. Okay, so moving forward, how do you feel about the current spiritual advancement that's happening in the world right now?
I think it's a beautiful thing. And I think that it's important that we're doing stuff like this, like educating, because it's going to be a large number of people who are going through what we have went through in our beginning journey. And the most important thing that helps people is to know that they're not alone. So I look forward to seeing, and I want to help people stay on the positive aspects of things.
Yes.
Because just like with everything was considered a positive and a negative.
It's yin and yang.
Yeah. But really it's all the same. It's all the same energy. It's just something to transmute the other one and its perspective. Like we'll get into magic and stuff like that another day. But at the end of the day, these experiences and what we're doing is not evil. But a person can have evil intent.
Yes.
And abuse something that they have perspective on.
Yes.
So we want to also give education so that we can influence more people to stay on the positive realm of things and the healing aspect of things, a humanitarian aspect of things, an evolution aspect of things, and not utilize these understandings for manipulation, for greed,
or personal gain,
exactly,
control,
to control,
like that. Because that right there does happen with that happens with any spiritual system. You look at Christianity and it's like a good religion, but they use Christianity to come to this very land and kill millions of Native Americans off for manifest destiny in the name of Christ. So it's like any religion could be used for good or bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like any object could be used for good or bad. You could use a knife to
help in the garden.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like go in
Or
your
you
garden
can kill
and cut
somebody.
some stuff, or you can kill somebody with it. Yeah, exactly. So it's like a yin and yang with everything, and that is that yin and yang. But we want to use this information to tap into something positive, something that's going to advance, people, humanity, the world. Like we're doing our share, but it's not about negativity and evilness.
Yeah,
like, no, that's not what this is at all.
And take that that negative connotation out of it, because if you look at it like this, like people look at some of our belief systems or whatever, and they just think of an evil aspect.
Of course, that's how they're taught about it, and they're probably afraid of it. They're only used to this one thing, and they see somebody with some tarot cards, and it's like, oh, that person is a witch, and it's like, no, that person isn't a witch. Right. That person is just tapped into something that you're not tapped into.
And you don't have education.
Right, exactly.
It's
you were taught that it's bad or whatever.
It's the same as if somebody was to find out that somebody is Christian or Catholic or whatever, and then they say, and they just jump to, oh, you're a Satanist. Like, what?
Right.
Like, huh? That's the same thing. It's taking it's taking a group that took something to do with your spiritual beliefs and then did some old weird ass shit with it.
And applied it to the whole entire population,
and
which
tainted
isn't right.
everything.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's how I feel about what's happening right now.
Yeah, that's very good. So, where do you see you on your spiritual journey going to next? You've come out of Christianity, you've come to this place, you've been teaching, you've been enlightening yourself. You know, where do you go from here?
Staying disciplined, number one. Trusting myself and what I've learned and experienced, and helping people through their process.
Yes.
Period. Like, that's the most that I can do, and to hold myself accountable. Because what happens is you can have a certain understanding of things and then go backwards. And it's like, and then life will be even harder on you because you know what's up. So I have to remember who I am, what I know, utilize it to the best level or positive level or healing that it can possibly be to affect my future, everybody and everybody else around me.
Yes, like a positive intent behind it.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
And not forget that it is real. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Thank you for that.
Yes. So, are there any closing thoughts, any closing remarks, anything that you want to leave the people off with?
I want to leave with people, if this is not your path, don't attack people for going down their path. At the moment in which you take the time to put hatred upon someone else for being different and their path does not affect you in a negative way, you're being evil.
Yes. You're the witch.
You're the witch. You're attacking somebody else's life and you wish harm on them when they didn't do that to you.
Right.
So, peace and love. See you guys. And thank you,
Yes,
Artis.
yes, thank you. Friends. Yes, thank you guys for tuning in. Subscribe, like, and share Divine Interventions 13, and look out for more content that we will be dropping very soon.